latitude 0000, Neptunus Rex, ruler of the raging main.
I love that. So cool.
It's super cool.
Okay. All right. Ready?
Yep.
Okay. All right. All right. Hello, everyone. I am Rose Etherington. Over here we have my husband, Isaac Etherington, and this is Grandpa Bill. And we thought we would just take an opportunity to talk about the last couple of weeks, what we've experienced, what we went through with the coronavirus, and ultimately how Grandpa Bill, for lack of better words, kicked coronavirus in the butt. We're going to talk about that. So I'll just start out kind of setting this up and explaining how it all started. We all live together in McMinnville, Oregon, in a large house that's subdivided. Isaac and I, our two little boys, my mom, which is Grandpa's daughter, and then Grandpa Bill. We all live here. On Sunday, March 15th, I came home and Grandpa was lying in bed, and he just mentioned to me that he wasn't feeling very well. So I took his temperature, and he had a low grade. It was about 100.7, his temperature. So I was like, okay, I'd probably better call his doctor. So I did. I called his doctor, and they're like, you probably had better bring him in, and we should take a look at him. Just Grandpa has some underlying health issues. He has stage 3 kidney disease. He has it's congestive heart disease. He has some high blood pressure. So there are some pre-existing conditions, and that came to my mind. So we took him into the doctor, and it was a little bit of a scary experience. They immediately took Grandpa and put him by himself in a hospital room, and no one from the family was allowed to be with him. That was concerning for us for sure. And so we had to go a day and a night, and the next day we got a call. They had basically gotten his fever down. He was doing better, and they ended up giving him a coronavirus test. And I'll pass it over to Isaac to kind of explain why he was tested.
Yeah, as everybody knows, we're really short on coronavirus tests in the nation at this point. But due to my line of work, they deemed it necessary to test Grandpa. I fly for Life Flight Network. We're a medevac air ambulance helicopter operation, and in a couple of days previous to Grandpa going to the hospital, I had flown a couple of patients who were potentials for the coronavirus. So the doctors that were taking care of Grandpa Bill here decided that it was necessary to give him the tests due to his potential exposure to outside folks via myself as a vector, and he came up positive.
We got a call on Tuesday, March
18th, I think.
17th.
Yeah,
It was 17th.
like that, yeah.
That his test came back positive, and we just all felt, I mean, at first we were all afraid because Grandpa's 95, and all that we're hearing about, in the news is that people, that the elderly are not doing well with the coronavirus. So then we all started thinking, how could he have gotten it? Was it one of us? Like, who brought this and gave it to him? And finally, we just determined there's so many different ways that could have happened. We're not even going to go there. So we had to, of course, we got a call immediately from the health department. Grandpa was the first to test positive in our county, Yamhill County. So they monitored us, and we went into 2 weeks of quarantine. Unfortunately, Isaac was tested, and...
Yeah, again, because of my work, I was allowed a test, and had I tested positive, they would need to, branch out and see about everyone I was working with. Luckily, I tested negative, so they just put the house into quarantine. So everyone living in the household here, our 2 little kids, and the 4 of us adults had to stay indoors and treat Grandpa, with a lot of space and distance, treat him like a corona patient. So we had Grandpa quarantined into his room. We had to mask up and don the proper PPE as he's moving through the house, clean a lot of surfaces. We had to do that for 14 days, and until all of us showed no symptoms, and now we're in the clear now. And
yeah,
pretty amazing. I think the reason we're taking the opportunity to record this is because Grandpa's made a little history. He's the oldest American as of today to have tested positive for the coronavirus and then not passed away. So Grandpa has survived the coronavirus on his long list of other things in his life that he's survived, and always been a hero to us. But it's a pretty cool story, especially considering that he's got some underlying health conditions that put him even more at risk. So we're here today to tell Grandpa Bill's story.
So we're going to ask Grandpa some questions. I'll start. Grandpa, how are you feeling today, right now, physically? How do you feel?
I feel, I guess the word I would like to use is, I feel adequate. That's what my priest used to say. How are you today? I'm adequate. It's neither here nor there, but I feel okay. By that I mean, it's been a while, and I have been feeling myself slipping a bit over the years, and I think the way I feel now is that I'm fairly well holding my own, but at this point I don't think I have gotten back to where I was prior to this, but that we don't know how long it takes or whatever. But basically I feel fine. I don't have much energy, having a little trouble with my heart, got to take it easy, kidneys, so forth, but that's about where I am. So to answer your question, I'd say I feel, for my age and everything, I feel pretty good. Yeah.
Feeling like a 95-year-old?
I've never been that way before, but I think so.
Right. What symptoms of the coronavirus did you experience, and what was the worst symptom that you experienced?
I think the worst thing was that I had been feeling a little undergrade for the last, maybe a couple of weeks, just, so, but didn't have the pep I used to have. And then I think it was right about the time I had the test for the virus. I had a couple of nights where I just could not get comfortable in bed. My back would ache, and I just had a pretty tough time. But that kind of faded away a little bit, so I was able to sleep okay. And other than that, though, I've been eating fairly well, a good breakfast, usually, and I feel pretty well. I don't have much energy. I sleep a lot. Other than that, though, I feel adequate. Yeah.
So you'd say the aches and the pains and the fever would probably be the worst of your symptoms for the coronavirus.
Yeah, it's just the beauty of not being able to. And my weak part of my body is my lower back, and anytime I get an illness of some sort, it seems like that's where it ends up at, and that's awful difficult trying to rest. Laying down in bed to get comfortable with that back there. And I use a hot pad, which helps some, but it seems to be doing much better now. So what caused it to feel better? I have no idea. It's just one of those things, yeah.
Yeah, so I think it's good to point out that Grandpa Bill got it pretty mild. A lot of people, I think we were able to catch it before it got into his lungs, so a lot of people are having trouble with respiratory problems, but you had a fever and some aches, and a little bit of coughing, but didn't.
Yeah, I have some congestion there, and I clear my throat a lot. I got to be careful swallowing, that I don't swallow some heavy stuff like they told me. Try to avoid eating peanuts, because when you grind them up, they still are in fairly good chunks.
Yeah.
And if it gets down, bypasses your stomach, gets down into your lung area, why you had a problem. So I've been kind of watching my diet some, and that's about it. I think it's just pretty much so.
So you spent a good week at least pretty much in your room, just, laying there, probably lots of time to think about the situation. And what would you say was the main thing that really pulled you through this, that you feel got you through your coronavirus experience?
Well, I would say probably your two boys, my 11-month-old and my 5-year-old great-grandsons. They're just flat gorgeous boys. I mean, they're full of vigor, vitality. They're full of the old Dickens, and I love them dearly. And I like to be around to kind of help out where I can. I'm able to babysit them, not by myself because I can't pick them up and carry them, but I can, when they're in their pen or so forth there, I can kind of keep an eye on so folks here can do their computer work and all that. So I still feel there's some value there, so that's why I'm hanging around.
Well, you're definitely a big part of their life for sure.
Yeah, our boys
They
love
keep you
Grandpa. We were talking about this too. We feel so blessed and honored that we were able to have Grandpa here with us. I think having family around, having us here, even though he was in his room, he could hear us. We were here, as opposed to these stories we're hearing of people that are they're being taken to the hospital, and then that's just it. Their family is not able to be with them. They're not able to say goodbye to the family members that are not making it, and that's just heartbreaking. So we feel that we were very blessed to be able to be here home with Grandpa while he was going through this, and just the importance and the value of family sticking together and helping each other through the tough times.
I might add one of the things also I neglected to mention is that my second great grandson, he is crawling and he is speed. I mean, he's gone, and he'll crawl over to my door, and he'll knock on my bedroom door, bam, 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 and just pound on it, and so I get a big kick out of that. And of course, Paxton, my 5-year-old, he's there. We get along real well. He's just get along just wonderful, and that means a lot of the quality of life that you have. I have a quotation, I guess you'd call it, that I kind of live by. I don't know how you guys would take it, but I look at myself, my age, the condition, the medical problems I have, and that sort of thing, and it sets me in mind of a verse in the Bible that it said, talking about putting fresh wine into an old wine sack. You don't do that because the old wine sack will break and everything is lost. And I got to thinking, I've got these other conditions that I don't worry about, but they're serious. And my thought right now, and I talked to my primary doctor and also my cardiologist, and just let things go. We'll take care of myself there, and I don't know if one cut into my heart. In order to do that, to do any work on my heart, they would have to take a picture of that, and then run a tube up your leg, the main artery, and shoot some dye into your heart. And I understand, according to both doctors, that that's dynamite on the kidneys. So there I am, what to do. So I just figured I'd just kind of take care of myself and ride it out and see what happens. When the Lord calls me home, I'm ready to go, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I will say, though, something we noticed this entire thing, Grandpa never complained. He always had a positive attitude. He was always upbeat. He, every morning would get up and he'd put on his favorite music, which was basically the polka chicken dancing song, Roll Out the Barrels.
Some old classics.
What was the flute? What was it called?
Grandpa's a fan of Zamfir, the master of pan flutes.
A lot of that.
So some of you guys might remember that guy.
Zanko?
Yeah, Zamfir. Yeah, you like him.
Yeah, Schubert's Serenade, my favorite. That puts me to sleep.
Yep.
One thing I think about Grandpa's story that's a lot of people are interested in that we've spoken to in the last day. Grandpa's gotten a lot of attention, not only because of this coronavirus, but that's just kind of the ice cream or the icing on the cake. Grandpa's had an interesting life. He's born way back in 1925. He lived through the Great Depression, has a lot of good memories of that, and honorably was one of the first gentlemen to put boots on Guam in the South Pacific. So he was he worked for the Navy with the Marine Corps. You can tell us who you served with, Grandpa.
Oh yes, we were attached to the 3rd Marine Division, our battalion, and went through the Northern Solomons and Islands, and then on to the Mariana Islands, which is Tinian, Guam, and that sort of thing. And actually invaded Guam, retook Guam again back, which was an American unit. Anyway, so That's where we were, and we did okay. And I have getting calls from people like my granddaughter is that had been on Guam and this sort of thing, and the people that had been in the service in the Corps and in different parts of the service, what we recall. So it brings back a lot of memories, some good, some bad, but anyway, it's good to be remembered.
Yeah.
Well, you're definitely seen by the younger generations as someone that's got an amazing attitude. You're definitely a salt of the earth kind of guy. Honest, great positive attitude no matter what's going on, and knowing what you've been through in life, it's pretty darn cool to see you here at this age treating coronavirus like it's just a little water off the duck's back. So I think it's you set a great example to other people who are really buying into a lot of the fear that's going around the country and the world right now.
Well, it's how we learned, particularly in the Marine Corps, they always taught that we adapt. You know, you have your plans and they go awry, you adapt, you modify, you adjust, whatever, but you don't just give up. You just get around that and get the job done. That's the main thing. It's we had a saying, I remember years ago I took a Dale Carnegie course to improve myself, and they had a little test we had to give there, and they said the test was that you'd have to bring a newspaper rolled up in front of a table in front of all the other students, and you use this rolled up paper to emphasize what you're saying. And the saying we had to say was something like this. He said, I know men in the rank who will stay in the rank. Why? I'll tell you why. Because they haven't the ability to get things done. And as you said that, you bang the paper, get the point across, and this sort of thing. I never forgot that, you know. So that you adapt, and you just don't give up, throw up your hands. You get around it, you do it, and it generally works out.
I think something that I've seen in Grandpa that I personally believe is in every American. We may have forgotten it or we don't know, but it's the fight. It's the American fight that we're not going to let this keep us down. We're going to get through this as Americans. You know, we may have a lot of differences right now, but that is the one thing we have in common. We are all Americans. You know, my grandfather served so that we could all be here, you know, enjoying this freedom, and we all have that American fight, and that's what really unites us. Is we want to fight for that, for our freedom.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I think Grandpa, we're just very honored and privileged to be here with him through this. For people that are at home right now who are really scared that they're hearing a lot of the negative, you know, it's scary. What words of wisdom, what words of advice would you give to them?
Well, I speak for myself, but I truly believe this, is that we were put here on earth with a job to do. And we're to do that job to the best of our ability for the glory of God who created us. And that's pretty much it. And when we're through, we've used everything up that the Lord has given us for his glory and for your fellow men and women. You used all that up, there's nothing left of us but a hollow shell, empty. Then it'll return to dust and ashes. But the Lord will grab our soul, bring it up to his heavenly home, and that's the name of the game. That's winner. You're up there with him for the eternity, and that's my true belief. Absolutely. Hang in there. Right.
Hang in there. One thing I can say that Grandpa, I think, is his coat of arms. A lot of it is the faith and his positive attitude, and and the belief that he's got a job to do here.
What is your saying that you like about the tough? Remember?
Pardon?
What's your saying that you like to say about the tough?
Is it the quitters?
Or the quitters never. What is that?
Fighters never quit, and quitters never fight. Carry on.
All right.
Sounds like Winston Churchill, doesn't it?
Yeah, it kind of does actually. But the good news is we are all healthy. We're doing great. Everyone's coming out of this. It's been honestly, in some ways, a refreshing experience. All of us spending this time together, being able to help each other. I really believe that as hard as this is, there are some good things happening in the midst of this of this scariness. And I think that Grandpa's been through it. He's been through the Great Depression. He fought in World War II, and he knows, he's seen the hard times. He knows this will pass. We will get through it. So.
Absolutely,
Yep.
and we're just very excited to be able to share, shine a little positive side,
Some hope
of the scary scene that we're going through here in the country and in the world. So, thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, you want to go ahead?
Yes, thank you for the opportunity to speak to my fellow old timers and young timers as well there. But remember, you hang in there, you adapt, you get plenty of rest, follow your instructions, and take care of yourself, and it's all going to come out okay. And don't forget to pray, for pity's sake.
All right.
Thank you.
For pity's sake.
Thumbs up.
Right
All right.
Good job, Grandpa. That was great.
So that's okay.
I'm gonna